My boo, ye Africa, sing loud, sing to the people. Let them give us something to the world. We'll ring the bells when you come back. We'll beat the drums when you come back. Our lost African music will turn into the music of the people. Here's the people's music by the people's culture, and I'll be the one who will climb up the mountains. Africa sing, Africa sing, Africa sing, Africa sing, sing, sing Africa, sing, sing Africa, sing, sing Africa, sing, sing Africa. Africa.
Evening. Thanks for joining us. It can't be easy. At the end of yet another day to forget for England, we'll do our level best to explain, analyse and, I would imagine, criticise. Gareth Southgate and Marcel Desailly will look back and hopefully forwards. There's the best of Argentina-Mexico by way of distraction, but we'll begin as we must in Bloemfontein. England versus Germany with Andy Townsend and Clive Tilsley.
Watching at home with the rest of you. Final score in Bloemfontein, Germany 4, England 1.
Did the best team win, Fabio?
Look, they started well. They played better than us. They scored 2 goals. Always at counter-attack. But after we play good game, after 2-1, 2-2, the second half we play well. One post from Lampard. We create other chance to be dangerous.
When you strike that shot, you see it hit the bar, you see it bounce down. What are you thinking?
I knew it was a goal. I knew instantly. I haven't even seen the replay yet. I don't need to. I don't quite know how you get that one wrong. I mean, I saw it from taking the shot. The referee was not far away from me. You know, that's the way it was.
It's impossible in one World Cup to play so important games without technology, without a fifth referee behind the goal. And we are now here speaking but I saw from my position that was good because the ball bounced interior of the post.
If that goal goes in, did Germany win?
At 2-1 down, even before that incident, I still felt as if we were hitting them in key areas to go and win the game. When you don't get that decision and then they go 3-1, it's a killer blow, and we just never recovered from there. But even at 2-0 down, I still thought we had enough time to turn that round. 4-1, it was never a 4-1 game.
Did England have the potential, John, to reach the final?
Yeah, I think, we honestly believe that, and, we was hoping that after the last performance against Slovenia, things are going to improve and get better. Obviously, we're out now, and that's the end of it for us. But we certainly believed it as a group of players coming here.
Does it feel like failure? Does it feel like a gallant defeat?
Yeah, of course. When you come to a major tournament, if you don't go all the way, you've failed. It's as simple as that. But the Germans deserved their win today. They played fantastic. They were organised and they killed us. They were lethal, and we made probably only 4 mistakes in the game and got killed.
Many English fans will say if Frank Lampard's goal had been given, it would have been a different result. Would you agree?
Yeah, for sure. If it's a goal, then it's 2-2, and in the second half can happen everything. But now it's not a goal, and now we are up to Wembley goal 1966. It was the same.
Did you clearly think it had gone over the line?
I don't see it from my position from right. I have no meaning about it.
We gave them too much space early on, and they took advantage with a 2-goal lead. And I thought we rallied pretty well from that. Got the goal and put them under a bit of pressure. Even second half, we came out first 15-20 minutes and hit the bar and had chances. But they've taken the chances on the break pretty well, and we got it by a couple of counter attacks.
In the whole game, we played like a team. Everybody ran for each other, and in the offense we played our situations good, and we score our chances, and that's the secret.
What about the manager's future? Have you got the right man in charge? Always when England exit a tournament, there's always going to be talk about the manager's future.
Listen, 100%. I said in my press conference earlier on in the week that myself and the other players are 100% behind Fabio. course we would like to progress further. You know, him, the players, the fans, everybody. We're hoping it's not even an issue, you know, for us talking about that at the moment.
I believe I've got the right man in charge, and I've got every confidence in the manager. I mean, the manager's done everything right as far as I'm concerned. If he stays or goes, I mean, that's a question you'll have to ask the manager himself, but Fabio Capello's a magnificent manager, so if he left, I think it'd be disappointing.
Fabio, you have 2 more years on your contract. Do you want to stay and stay with the team?
I don't speak about this, please. It's another moment to speak about.
It's
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
He doesn't want to discuss it yet, although he will talk to the FA, and we'll get to that. But England's biggest ever defeat at a World Cup finals. I think the better team won, Marcel.
For sure, I mean, but the expectation was high for England, you know. The mistake has been done before, previously, you know, finishing second and now facing a team like Germany that have that sort of confidence, and collectively they have really shown that they were a better side, even if that goal was in.
Yes, indeed. How do you make sense of the performance, Gareth? I know it was on the back of several other very mediocre or even poor performances, but it was bad today.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, the difficult thing to comprehend is why it's been support right throughout. Because today we came up against a good side, but the performances earlier in the tournament were no better. And we stumbled through, and because we didn't top the group, we ended up with a harder game than we should have had. So throughout, it hasn't been to the level that we needed. And we hoped that today they would find something extra against a better side, that maybe there'd be a bit less pressure. But they were outplayed for long periods, and as Marcel says, we can't just dismiss the goal at 2-2 because psychologically it makes a big difference. But you have to look at the overall performances throughout the tournament, and we haven't come up to scratch.
No. Getting beaten by a side that creates lovely movement, which at times they did, and scores great goals, that's one thing. But to make the kind of mistakes defensively that allowed them to go 2-0 up.
I mean, the first goal is incredible, and you know we'll talk about the manager, I'm sure. Goal kick. You look at, for a start, Glenn Johnson is so far away from his 2 centre backs for a goal kick. It's not true. Matthew Upson's marking Ashley Cole. He needs to be the other side of closer, and it means that when John Terry, who just completely mistimes his jump, when he mistimes it, Upson's the wrong side of closer, gets held off. It's just a Sunday League goal, really. It's incredible, Marcel.
Can understand that as a defender. I don't understand what happened.
Sorry, this second goal, it's our throw-in. If John Terry drops off there, Upson can just play it to him. One of our biggest problems as a team, we concede possession too easily. Once we've conceded it, now all the German players are in space, able to pick things up, and we don't press as a team. If we can't get there, you've got to drop as a team. Instead, Barry sort of goes towards the ball. You'll see Ashley Cole doesn't quite get there and then gets caught on a 1-2. John Terry comes in, doesn't get there, and it's like a catalogue of errors. Glenn Johnson's too far away, but then he has to come to try and stop the striker shooting Muller, and then it's just played over his head. Podolski and David James as well, probably.
Also,
Marcel.
Position, the angle, we'll see in the other replay. I mean, the angle was, he should have closed it,
I mean, I've run out of circles to put on. It's such poor.
Already from that explanation, you understand that the second goal, the equalizer goal, is controversial, but you see how many mistakes we were making. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody's kidding themselves that England were competing on the same level of performance as Germany. However, if a perfectly good goal is given and it goes 2-2, it is a different game. It probably gets to half-time. At that point, you might reorganise. Yeah. The Germans might not have the confidence. Who knows? It's all ifs and buts.
Because there was a 5-minute spell where, I mean, look, we're talking about a 5-minute spell here, by the way, where the Germans were really rattled. Yeah. Upson scores with a great cushioned header. And then Frank has this shot that we think, well, why we don't have technology. You maybe think slightly differently, Marcel.
No, but I can discuss on that. The fact also that if England score, it will have built up a little bit also the spirit of our team, of England, and probably have brought England to a certain level that...
I mean, we see the referee's view, we see the linesman's view of it as we come down at that level.
Are they still looking at Lampard when he shoots?
Well, they shouldn't
because it was not a real shoot, and they just turned the head when the ball hit now the second time.
Yeah,
probably.
Could be. Maybe the linesman's looking at the offside instead of at the goal. I don't know what benefit it is. David Beckham going. I don't know if Wayne Rooney's been fishing. I don't know what's going to
Well.
But, I mean, you know, in a World Cup, I just cannot believe that we can't sort out the decision like that. I mean, and it is costly. You know, it is costly. Anybody that's played knows the difference between 2-1 and 2-2. At that stage, you go into half-time 2-2. The Germans are on the back foot. So it is a massive, massive decision. As much as we can't ignore the rest of the performance, that is a huge decision.
Well, we asked FIFA tonight for a statement on technology. Obviously, the man in charge is this guy, Sepp Blatter, FIFA president. We were pointed towards this quote from Mr. Blatter back in March. No matter which technology is applied, he said, at the end of the day, a decision will have to be taken by a human being. This being the case, why remove the responsibility from the referee to give it to someone else? Fans love to debate any given incident in a game. It's part of the human nature of our sport. What I don't get about that, Marcel, is a human being equipped with technology makes a better decision than a human being who's not equipped with technology. So I don't see his point.
He's right. He's our boss. He's Sepp Blatter. I mean, he cannot compete with that. But at the same time, we should increase the human being around this 80-yard box where it's a crucial, area where, good decisions have to be made. Maybe that technology is not ready, like in tennis, where, the ball cross...
the technology is there. By all accounts, the technology is there. It's just not being introduced because FIFA don't want it introduced for whatever reason.
On an incident like that, we could see it within 10 seconds of the goal. Yeah.
Less.
It's not even an issue. And forget the argument that what happens in a World Cup has to happen. The rules have to be the same right through. We don't have 7 subs on Hackney Marshes. We don't have, we don't have a 4th official on Hackney Marshes. So it's not the same game.
But I agree that he wants the thing to be instinctively. Let's not talk about technology, maybe, but at least another ref, somebody should be positioned in that area for us.
Well, they've tried it in the Europa League, obviously, with the 2 extra assistants. Whether they would have spoken to the referee at that point and said it's over the line. We haven't had that situation come up in the Europa League, but at least something's being attempted in any UEFA competition to resolve those kinds of issues. As it turns out, we've discovered this evening, post-match, that the same referee 6 years ago in a World Cup qualifier between Brazil and Colombia made the same mistake. Let's have a look at this. This is Adriano, Ronaldinho on the ball. Adriano, scores a goal. Jorge Larionda is the ref. Waves play on, and you'll see quite clearly it's over half a metre inside the line.
Yeah. I mean, again, look, it is the same referee. It's not the same. Really, the linesman has the best view. The linesman has, but as Frank Lampard said, and I know if somebody that hits the shot is always going to say he could see it from where he was, but the referee was just behind him. And it's so far over. The linesman has to see it. It's incredible, really. Yeah, incredible.
They got undone, clearly, in the second half by 2 very good counter-attacks. Bad defending again. With all the inquest last week about France, it's kind of tear it up and start again. Is that what needs to happen with England?
It looks like you still have the Euro that is coming on, but and I'm not sure you should already start and move, all the your elder players that will not be at the next World Cup. They're still alive for this generation after this World Cup, for the Euro, for the good of England, also for them to have some sort of slow transition for your new generation of players. Yeah, then it's not the end. It's not the end. Because they are still your best.
Well, yeah, the only thing I would say about this is we can't keep blaming the managers every time.
No.
We've tried to buy the World Cup by employing a foreign manager. Now, there are things about Capello that I don't agree with. The system I don't think is how you can play at international level now.
It's clear.
So there are certain things. But, we've had Eriksson, who had a great club record as a manager. We've had Capello. It can't always be the managers. We keep talking about... We've got the best players. A lot of them haven't performed. A lot of them haven't performed. Whether Rooney's fit or not, he didn't perform at this tournament.
No.
And that's the cold facts.
And interesting pictures from the team leaving on the bus tonight. It's not, I don't think, from these pictures, a question of players not caring or not putting in every effort that they've got. They'll be absolutely despondent.
Absolutely not. The one thing that used to rile me about people criticising England, they say the players don't care, not enough passion. They do, But sometimes we're just not good enough. John Terry said in his interview, we got beaten by a better team. And on the day, I think that's right.
Yeah, beaten by a better team, but it's quite hard to take that sometimes.
You have to. I mean, at the end of the day, we are talking about football. Football is a game where if the confidence does not arrive, the player don't perform. Then the confidence was there, but at the same time you have the opponent that is also performing and is used to play with each other. They are used to play with each other, the Germans. You can feel it, you can see it, But England needed a bit of more time, maybe another game, again to build up that confidence and to be a team that can pretend of winning that World Cup.
Sadly, there won't be another game. Not at this World Cup. The latest from what must be a despondent team hotel next. I wonder what the future holds for players and manager alike. Of course, Mr. Capello's future in doubt. We'll find out what happens next after the break. Oh dear, oh dear. England outplayed, outclassed, outthought, and out of another major tournament. They're back at the team hotel and fly back to England tomorrow. What of that man's future? I wonder. Our reporter Gabriel Clark has hot-footed back from Bloemfontein to Rustenburg. Gabriel, I can only imagine what the mood might be like at the team hotel tonight. And what is the latest news on Fabio Capello's future?
Well, Matt, Fabio Capello's contract runs until 2012. There was a clause in that contract which was removed just before the World Cup, in which the FA or Capello could have released themselves from England duty, the two together. But the parties decided to remove that clause because Capello had been strongly linked with Inter Milan before this tournament, so there's a little complication there. But Capello said after the game tonight that he will not be resigning. He did make it clear, though, he will be discussing his future with the Football Association to see if they still have confidence in me or not. More will be revealed, we imagine, tomorrow when the FA hold their final press conference here at the team hotel around 2:30 p.m. We expect Fabio Capello to be the headline act. Then the team, as you say, will head off to Johannesburg Airport and they're back in the UK on Tuesday morning.
And what of the senior players that you spoke to after the match today, what sense from them about what the future might hold in terms of international football for some of them?
Well, Steven Gerrard, John Terry, Frank Lampard all made it perfectly clear they want to continue for the European Championship qualifiers. There's just a big sense of regret, Matt. Regret, I think, for a lot of them about their individual contributions. Regret about the fact that as a unit they once again have underperformed. Regret about that terrible injustice of a decision today. But listen, I don't think we're going to be talking about a Uruguayan linesman in the same way we've been talking about a Russian linesman over the last 40 years in 40 years' time, because as Steven Gerrard said afterwards, listen, we weren't good enough. This is a failure. And these senior players were involved, some of them in 2002 and 2006, when England went out in the quarterfinals at World Cups. They were gutted then. Well, now they've regressed to a degree, haven't they? They've gone out in the last 16. That, I think, is the big accusation to be levelled at Fabio Capello. England have gone backwards under his management. Maybe tactically, maybe technically. That is the big thing now that the FA and Mr. Capello will be debating. The players are ready for the inquest. One thing we can be sure about, I think, as well, is that Fabio Capello and the FA will come to a quick decision. That is the way that Fabio Capello behaves.
Thank you very much, Gabriel, as always, out in Rustenburg. Question on Capello to you, having worked with him, Marcel. Yeah. Is it him or the players here? What's malfunctioning?
Well, it's clear. It's too clear to think, the other way around. The players like the management. The players like the pressure that he's able to put on them. But the only thing I think is tactically he needs to, reorganize a little bit, bring in some young players into your national team, and see.
Well, the bigger picture is we're struggling for younger players. We haven't got a production line for the reasons that the Premier League works separately to the FA and has its own interests. Yeah, we don't export players.
No, absolutely. I mean, one thing we must say, and we haven't said, Germany were excellent today.
Yes.
And the bedrock of that team was from their under-21s who were in the final against our under-21s last year. Now, 5 of their team there got in the squad. 4 of them played today. The goalkeeper, Khedira, Ozil, who were all excellent. Yeah. We only had Joe Hart and James Milner who came through from the 21s. The other youngsters aren't getting games in the Premier League. So our football itself at league level isn't helping the national team. They're not getting the opportunity to play. No. And managers are frightened to pick young players because if they don't do it, the manager's out. So the FA have to take charge of this.
There are lots of issues, some of them very big. The inquest will continue. After the break, thankfully, the day's other game. You know who? And Argentina up against Mexico here at Soccer City this evening. And I'll mark your card, there is another technology debate in this game. Highlights next. Now, the evening knockout game...